3, 2, 1, and ignition, as we used to say.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
The process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time, I explained more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe, some energies, some dynamic fields have come together. Over billions of years, these fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together. The same process repeats again because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in this span of the universe, the sun that irradiates out, does the same thing again. Radiates its fields out, and in interaction with itself, with the fields of itself, leads to creation of planet. In that process of the creation of planet, the same process happens again. In the interaction of the fields of the earth with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to another sun. We call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. But if the soul of the man can understand and absorb and be correct with his conduct, he can become the strength of the fields and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to his creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, he shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from and goes back to. In the solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life, the process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter on what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, to be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became man's soul, what would be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality. Would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself cannot give, will lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. In the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that soul will create. If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall create. Man never understood and shall never understand till can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they'll be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider what life shall my soul create, because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 billion children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-matter state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet, and the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of the new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts from the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts specks of dust came together to make the Earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust on the solar system has led to the creation of man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by his soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today you were not aware of it. From today you are aware of it. You are responsible for it. Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the citizens. We don't give a fairy tale. This is the truth about it. As you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have less, they have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar system of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that you can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth. And the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is an operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes his point of reference of his own creation, of his own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the 440th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 7th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, and it's part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond, and I'll be a host today for Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who, as per usual in these weekly Knowledge Seekers workshops, will be presenting today's show, and I think he's ready to go. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute's knowledge seeking and sharing knowledge with each other. This morning, Rick said, which intro do you want me to play? I said, play, you play the right one. Whatever it is, as it usually comes up. And it's amazing. I wrote a couple of days ago, because of communication with members of Universal Council and other knowledge seekers around the world, which we usually communicate with. I wrote on a piece of paper what the topic today should be. And usually something to refer back to. And the reason it came in this way was because when we put the peace treaty out, if you read the original peace treaty article, it says, I commit my body and my soul to peace. And we had a number of people from South America, especially Brazil, that they wrote back to the foundation at that time, Mr. Keshe, we can commit our physicality, but not our soul, because our soul is committed to Christ, was his name. And now that we have developed the technology that man can see the strength of his soul, can see the extension of the soul of the man within and beyond the boundary of his physicality, the question comes to understand, is our soul committed to anything or anyone? Or is it committed to itself to be peaceful? We gave our physicality to slavery, and now that we understand the position and the strength of the soul of the man, do we still give our soul to slavery? That it'll be abused by the others in the names that they force and in a way brainwash us? Or we accept the freedom of totality in physicality and soul? Does the soul of the man now has a containment? Does a star, the light of a star, the beauty of a star in the depth of the universe has a limitation in how far its light shines, as is the point of the observer that allows it to be observed. So now, with the development of the new technologies, that we have managed to reverse the process where the sun became the creator of the physicality, and now in the new process, we change the physicality for the soul of the man to be what we call clothing it. What will be the future of the man? In the next week or two, as new people and other people who already been through the process in LINS go through the system, what would they see as new technologies has been added? This week we are closed as new systems is getting developed, that in next week we'll have new dimensions. We've seen and we have heard many of you going through the system that you feel the energy beyond you, the physicality is inside. We've seen many of you explaining how you connect to the system, even your left lens, and you can connect to it instantly. I was talking to a number of people who've been, and they say they can connect to lens and just immediately get to the position where they want. The reality is, as we learn more and more, do we need to dictate the position, or do we wish and we achieve the position? I go to sleep tonight and I want to see the dad because there's something I have to tell him. I need him to console, where he is on the other side of the world working, or he passed away years ago, but I always valued his opinion. Tonight, with the system you learned, you will meet with him if he's available to meet you, and the fathers always are. Now we understand that the limitation of what we call encapsulating, slaving the soul of the man is over. We hear this from the Universal Council member, that in a message left behind, that she wishes and happens the way she wishes. We hear from others who've been through the process, they do the same. Now it means we can dictate the life. We can endeavor to understand the knowledge. We can endeavor to see the community of the universe that is we are part of, and we always considered ourselves not to be part of. We have entered in the new dimension of the technology of what we call the movement of the energies of the universe, which our soul is part of. We have to understand that we have completed the knowledge in a way. As I said before, we came from the matter state, we changed to gases into energy state, and we can make anything we like. Now we managed to free the soul of the man to make what it likes and connect to what it likes. The only difference is now to get to the Father on the other side of the world, you not need to get on a jet plane and spend hours. As I said, with the new technology we go to, we don't fly to, because it's instantaneous. When you want water, you stretch your arm and you get the bottle or the glass and you drink the water. Now, with the new understanding, we create the same condition. You want to see the Father, you free the soul. You extend the soul, and in fact, his soul is irrespective of where he is, if he is in a physical dimension or he is the center of another star solar system, because of what he did during his time serving the humanity. Now we understand. With a new system which is coming into operation in MENS in the next few weeks, we shall not see, once you go through the soul's full process, the physicality as we see in front of us on the screen. We see these individuals as lights. We see these individuals to light up the room. As the soul gathers strength and trust to manifest this. Then, in that process, we will be able to transmute as our wish to put the soul in a given position to transmute it. Or The soul, when it arrives in the dimension of the light in the system, then it decides where you want to go. With a new development and a progress in this, we have achieved and we will achieve and we deliver the transmutation of the soul of the man. This means, in a way, we turn the sheep skin inside out, where the skin was covering the soul. Now we turn it back. The soul is free, the soul is there, and the physicality within its dimension. We shall see the development of the progress of the soul of the man. That we allow the son of the man, the soul of the man, to travel the dimension of the universe. If the man is clear enough with himself, he will see where the Creator, according to the strength of his service to humanity and the universe and dimension of the soul, which he was not aware of, has predetermined, has allocated, has seen to be beneficial for the services to his creation. That will be the position of the soul in the universe or in the universe. In a way, it's like when you build a house, you go and find a plot, and then you dream what you want to do with it, and then you build your dream to become your home. With the technology which is in the hand of the man now, and is in basic form, fundamental form, is in this. Those who are clear in the dimension of life do not need to wait to see the house, the position, the plot, the what they call destination of their souls in the universe, where they can see where the Creator, according to the strength of their soul, has allowed, has allocated, has given the strength of to be the position. You will see if you are a star of a solar system or you are a dust in the dust of one of his planets due to what you have done in time of the life of this planet. Whatever I promise you, I have delivered. Now, as was in the intro, what would your soul create? For the first time, man will have the opportunity to change his behavior, to change the cycle of life in where the soul shall be, because he will see the plot allocated to him. And if he likes that plot, if he likes to be in another position to serve better, and this allows a better, what we call cycle of creation of life in the universe, as you evolve yourself, as you educate yourself in a physical dimension, not to be a builder or a plumber, but you want to be a doctor and a professor, you educate yourself. Now man has the chance to do that. These systems we put in lens is not just for you to come and dream and see what the dream is. It's for gradually for us to show you where you're destined for. What is the future holds for you when in the dimension of physicality you decide to departure from the soul and the physicality from each other. Or you still can embed the physicality in, know where you're destined for. You want to be a better son, you want to serve better in the dimension of physicality, you change accordingly. Now the physicality remembers the dream of the soul, not the soul, the dream of physicality. Now man has the opportunity to bring that position forward. As I said to you before, if I show you everything wrong, oh, you all commit suicide together because you think by ending your physical life, you will reach there. But in fact, what we show you, it shows you to extend your life to create a perfect soul, to create a condition for your soul to serve in the dominion of the creation and the Creator. in the best of its ability. In a way, do you want to be that uneducated and let the soul go uneducated in the universe, or educated where you want it to be, that it serves the best in the universe? It becomes a professor of the doctor of whatever value man has created for himself in the dimension of physicality, in the dimension of the universe and universe. This is the purpose of these systems, not just for you to come and drink, not for you to just come and go and see the mom and dad who passed away, or the brother is another part. I recently, in the past few days, invited one of the richest women in one of the continents of this, what we call Earth, to come into the system, to come and see if the wealth is in the dimension of physicality, or she actually has gathered any wealth in the dimension of the soul. And then we see how people will handle, how people will change their life, how people, humanity as a whole, will come into it. As I've seen in correspondence with people, with members of the Universal Council, people are trying to use the Universal Council members to reach to the system, that they can elevate themselves. This is the process which actually we become. The soul of the Universal Council members become that enhancement unit. It becomes the point of reference for man, not to on this planet, but to see through their souls the light of the creation in the universe. That's what we call the Universal Council. This week, we released the same numbers of the new members of the Universal Council. There are now 24, and soon there will be 27 of the major languages of the world, with some 70 backup Universal Council supports. The Council are extended, and their job to support the soul of humanity for the transition of time of the knowledge has started. When we established the Universal Council, was for the day like today, where the Universal Council members come to lives, share their souls with the soul of each other, and connect to the rest of the soul of humanity and the universe. As the new members of Universal Councils and the present Universal Council members make their way to LINS to go through the process, the whole process of interaction of the elevation of the soul of the man has started. The simulation system is not simulation for physicality. Simulation of the simulation system in LINS is actually the flight system method of the universe. But man is too blind to see. Listen to the experience of those who come, and we put it out, a few as testimonial. Then you understand. Again, you missed the train by just looking at the physicality. The whole purpose was to show that we can extend the soul to become independent. And now that it starts repeating itself and people connect more and more, now the souls will shine. Now we will see the essence of the creation, the reason we built these systems. The magnetic fields and power of magnetism has been around the man from the time of the creation of this planet. It took thousands of years and centuries for man to educate himself to use this hidden field to create energy you call electricity. Now, it's the same with the enhancement unit flight simulation. is to understand the energies which soul of the man creates and what light will create and what it can be used for in the field of strength in the universe. It's a pleasure to share this knowledge. It's a pleasure for you to understand what is about to happen to the man. You have had the cars and the donkeys and you were forced to carry your physicality. Now we give you the enhancement unit to travel the soul of the man, which has no dimension. It's not there for you to share the dreams. Those of you who come and share the dreams, you find out you connect yourself to the system for eternity. In a way, it becomes the earth soul in the dimension of the connection for the souls of the man who live this, what we call planet, in a different structure than physicality. We don't need to go to fairs to see something and come back and tell our children there is such a thing, and years later it appears as, you see, I told you they were showing it in such a place. Now is in the market. The enhancement units, which are built as a simulation, are the twin stars of the soul of the physicality of the totality of the soul of the man on this planet. Then you understand how the process has started, what the next step is, how we allow you travel step by step, the soul travel, then physicality travel. In next few short times, many of you who went through the process of the enhancement unit simulation system, you'll find out you will be present and physicality can be asleep, and you do a lot of things and you come back and the physicality is there. Everybody tells you you're asleep, you were snoring, but in fact, you say, I was awake, I was doing this and that, but because the soul is doing it, the physicality is in position. In a way, physicality needs the rest time. The soul of the man has no time to rest. We see the changes. This is the whole purpose of the enhancement unit. For you not to become to see that, for you to become aware of your soul, that what it can do, you can see that anytime you wish. Today, man says, when I go to the other side, I see my mom and dad. You don't need to go to the other side to see the mom and dad. You see the mom and dad because the other side is living, or in a way encapsulating the physicality that the mom and dad are there. It's just like you've been locked into a room in a house and everybody else is doing whatever they like in the house. It's you who's been locked out. The rest are having a party because you've been a naughty child. You have not done what you were supposed to do, and you did not understand what's the rule of the party, how you have to behave. Now we open that door. You make some mistakes, you make some adjustments, but overall, humanity will reach that point. The new enhancements units, which many of you will start going through from next Tuesday, will show you a new dimension. Will bring you to experience and live a new dimension, not while you are in the system, when you leave the system. In a way, you have found access point to go through to any position in the dimension of the creation. And Earth is not anymore 1,000 light away from another star, it's instantaneous arriving at another star. The way you have seen those who give testimony. They don't travel to, as we said before, they go to instantly. We do not disclose the designs because mankind is not even ready to understand the simplicity of the process, but the complexity of the knowledge which leads to simplicity. I have made this knowledge so simple that anyone can do, but no one can do it if it's not the mind. You will see in the new enhancement unit, new features, new understanding, new elevation levels, more closer. Those of you who came to see, to be, to feel the presence of the prophets of the God, you shall achieve it from now on. If you have put yourself to be in the position of the direction that you have been true to your belief. Many people who have been through the system in the past 3-4 weeks, they tell us they feel the presence of Christ. They feel the presence of someone so and so. But now, with the new development, we allow you, we give you the opportunity to sit with them, to be present with them, and to bring back the messages which they truly gave to their followers. There is one thing for sure, and that's for sure. We see the end of capitalism. We shall see the end of the path of the belief in many, many ways of religions, because now we will see the 24 commandments with our own eyes and not filtered the way mankind has been abused by putting them aside, destroying them, and the rest. When Moses was given the 24 commandments, it was written in the pen of the soul, not on the stone. When we see the new way, we can interact and bring the changes the new way. It's no use trying to overcome and change the climate warming by trying to capture the CO2s. Is to create a new system that you don't need the cars and the heating to create the CO2s. The planet will heal itself in time. The Industrial Revolution, from what is coming from the teaching and the work in the center in Linz, will fundamentally change the life of the man. We will see new technologies in the science of the universe, not in the science of the earth, will emerge. We are not only emergers, we are the cause of it. We bring it out for you to develop it. We'll see new sciences in the next few months appears out of nowhere, like the computers which came out of nowhere and we all got used to it. We'll start educating our children in the knowledge of the universe, not in the color and the structure of the physicality or chemistry or biology. In the next few months, as we lay out more and more advanced systems in Linz and then spread around the world, we'll see emergence of the universal knowledge, universal education, and universal understanding of the world. Our children will not speak about going from London to New York. Our children will speak to go to another planet, another satellite for lunch and come back, Mama being there. When your child goes to camping with a group of friends in New York, when he comes back and he says, Mama, I did this and this and that, they have these things, this and that, do you disbelieve her? Now We have to believe when they come back and say, on this planet, on this part of the universe, there is such a thing, such a thing. And all we say, did you enjoy yourself? Did you learn from it? What gift can you give me from that knowledge? We do not need even the verbal words to communicate. The soul of the child will enlighten us with the knowledge it's gathered on its trip. The horizon of the man has changed. And in the coming time, with the systems which we have put into operation in a very simple way, in lens, we have started that door, the gateway to the universe, to enlighten for the man to understand that the soul of the man has no limitation. Many of you have come from Italy, and you're still coming in because of the Italians flooding the system. How many of you have written to Vatican and invited the Pope? How many of you have asked your priests and religious leaders to come and test the system? They will say, no, something wrong. This is something what we call Antichrist. Because once they go in, they find out they've been anti about the reality of the soul of the Christ. Because, as we say, the hand of false magicians opens up. Invite the world religious leaders to come to this. Invite the world leaders to come to this. You wrote to them for a peace treaty, write to them for to come and meet their own soul. And then we'll see what we get. It's your responsibility to do this. It's your responsibility to create the next step of the work, not us. We reach the soul. We're here to teach you the mechanism for you to learn how to use the arm of the soul of the man to be able to create a new condition for man, not locked up to the physicality of this planet, but the span of the universe. You have heard in the testimonials, people go to the oceans, they go to jungles, and now we've seen 2 or 3 people going to the same jungle and are from different nationalities and different parts of this world. Make your way to LENS, especially Universal Council members and Universal Council support members, that you establish the link for the creation of the new soul of the man for this planet in connection with the soul of the planet. And bring that change. Bring that process of change. We can bring you to the water. We cannot make you to drink unless you're thirsty for the love of the Creator and to travel the span of the universe and unify the soul of the man, that in totality, the whole soul of the creation on this planet changes. In a way, in the world of the creation of the man, we call it the evolution. Evolutionary changes. Now this is the evolution in the soul of the man, in the science of the creation and the universe. And you have no choice. The seed is sown and is growing, and with it comes the whole process of understanding the process of creation and the Creator. As I said last week, and I explained to our team, now I explain to you in a very simple way. As you noticed last week, we launched the enhancement unit, power enhancement units the energy units, and what we call plasma enhanced packages, which is put for sale by the Keshe Foundation. Why did we do this? Why suddenly, in the depth of the work of the Keshe Foundation with the enhancement units simulation system, we suddenly launched the energy system? The reason for it is that the MAGRAV units you created, the systems you were given never understood, and the necessity for the people who came to the enhancement simulation flight system, we saw a need for expansion of the plasma. That's what I told you earlier on today, that you will become the sun, you become a star in the system. We needed to introduce a powerful power system to go to the transition of the both physicality and the soul of the man. And when we launched such a thing for the system, we decided that we'll let the humanity enjoy the trip. The new energy systems, which is launched by the Keshe Foundation, is not just for powering your house. It's the first step into allowing your soul in connection with the work of the Keshe Foundation to find a new dimension ready for the transmutation and transportation in coming time. Go back to my teachings for past years. I kept on telling you, I give you the dimension, the beauty of the MAGRAV, and you were just only interested in 50% or 10%. Now, with the new MAGRAV system, we guarantee you 50% reduction. Because this system is actually, the new system is created for the elevation of the soul of the man, energy of the cosmos. And I kept on telling you, you're looking at the crumbs. The new power generation unit will come with attachments in the next few weeks that you can literally do, feed, and do everything else, plus your energy saving at home. It's the beginning of the cycle of connecting to what we call Lin Center. It's the key to bringing the matter energy and the universal energy together, where you connect both to the energies of the house and you connect to the energy of the universe, and then you understand how evolution of the man will come into operation. These are like those portable generators where you buy when you live in the middle of desert to light the house. These are there to light the soul of the man. It's worth millions, and it's been put out for nothing, for man to go through that transmutation. It's the first time we release this technology in a very simple way, because man makes everything so complicated. When you buy or you get the enhancement, new enhanced power unit, plasma power unit, don't look for reduction in the electricity bill. Understand that you have brought the first step into the passage of the elevation of your soul in your dimension, in understanding and moving forward from the dimension of physicality. In a way, I have given you a system, a simple technology that can be there all the time, even in a matter state looks is not working. Is there for you to achieve the elevation to understanding of the soul of the man by yourself. You don't need intermediaries, you don't need prophets, you don't need messengers. This is why in my papers I wrote, the scientists are the messengers. Because with scientific development, we finish with the theology of the mysticism. Because you are in charge, it can be repeated. When it can be repeated and done by many people, it's not misreading. It cannot be manipulated anymore. The new energy enhancement units are the passage to the dimension of the universal energy. And this is what I kept on telling you, and I just said, you looked for 20–30% meager reduction in the electric bill. And I kept on telling you, look at the power of the megawatt. Now, with this technology, which we have released as a megawatt energy, this is the first step for you to get into that system. To understand it, you can live dual life of both the soul of the man and the physicality of the man. This is what we promised. The man become aware of his existence. We are providing these systems as what we call, we guarantee certain percentage in your electric because you're interested in that. That's all it is. But those who are there to go to the next steps of what we call enhancement in the dimension of universal energies, this is your gateway. This is your way to get to it. This is the way where I kept on telling you, I gave you the cake and went for the crime. Now the crumbs have gone. The cake is on the table. But you have to understand how to use this cake, not only for the soul, but to support the physicality in the same dimension too. You are blind to the sight of the soul. Now you shall see through the eye of the soul. You do not need the electricity to light up the room. The launch of this new system is so fundamental and will change the whole structure of the humanity in the coming time. It's as I said before, they say the most important discovery and evolution in science of man was creation of the wheel. When we made the wheel, we could carry more weights. The evolution in the soul of the man and the new life for mankind is the circle of the ball of the sphere of the plasma, which still rotates, but this time rotates on its own with the energies of the universe. Now you understand. When we explain that in the coming time, those of you who go through the enhancement unit, because we create the facilities for it, you'll become the light. You become the use and elevation and manifestation of your soul. And no one needs to confirm or deny, because you become aware of what you will do and your life changes because of it. And the people who you touch in the dimension of the soul will change with it. Because now you give them a new energy. You transfer a new dimension to them. You feed them with a new strength. The process of the transmutation of the soul will come through the understanding of the new knowledge. And it's your responsibility, those of you who listen today, or you listen in months' time or a year's time to this podcast, to understand that you have been given the same light as was given as a light to Moses in the mountain, the same fire as the others saw. Now it's you who's responsible to turn that fire on and meet it and perfect it. And this time, don't cheat it and don't break some stones because it doesn't suit you or you want to abuse the others. Because you got to understand that the whole of the creation of humanity now has access to the same fire and to the same light in the mountain. And that light is the light of knowledge of the Creator and nothing else. It's not a burning tree and it's nothing else that is shine out of anywhere. Now, as I said, the knowledge of the man has reached the level of the prophets of the past, because now you understand the knowledge came from the light, which now you have access to. There can be no ayatollahs, and there cannot be no popes and no pops, because you see the truth. You see the elevation of the soul of the man in his own dimension, and not with filtering to suit. My responsibility is to make sure more and more these systems are around the world that everybody get access to it. This is why we set the Keshe Foundation manufacturer. To manufacture the systems that are there, that people do not need to go to the church to read the man-tainted wishes and abuses in the book. They can go and see the light by themselves. Now you understand my process of teaching and why we taught as we have done. We brought you step by step to this point. We brought you step by step to see the beauty of the creation. And when you can touch it, and when you can feel it, and when you can enjoy its presence. Now you understand the next step of what we call the process is not anymore teaching you how to make things and what fits to wear. All that has been done is for you to add up and understand the whole process. And we have set out to make it easier. And hopefully in the next couple of months, you will see systems which can fly you across the universe through the dimension of your soul and not the dimension of your physique. It is for us to enjoy the beauty of the creation, the beauty of the freedom of the soul of the man. And all we are doing in Linz is show you the way. We haven't made you a temple to go to pray and worship. It's a place, it's an education center where you go to learn to educate your soul, how to be free, how to be able to travel the dimension of the universe, and how not to be trapped within the dimension of physicality. It's a place of knowledge, and it's your job is to come to learn and then share this knowledge with the rest of the humanity and the creatures of this planet and beyond. As I said last week, man up to now considered himself to be sitting on a donkey, and those creatures of the universe having the UFOs. And now, with the knowledge we have given you, man has become the holder of the knowledge of the creation, and those in the UFOs are those who are sitting on a donkey, envying how simple the Creator has shared the knowledge of creation with the man. As I said before, when it comes to the time of Mitra, the physicality of Mitra in the dimension of this manifestation of his children, the whole universe community will come to earth to see the beauty and why this gift has been given to man. after all the wrong things man has done. And the reason for it was only because of the beauty of this planet and the love of Mitra for its dimension and condition. She brought the Creator as a lover follows to see what the other lover has seen, to share the same beauty and love. Go back in all the teachings, and if you understood the teaching, you can build the enhancement units for what we call flight. But the secret is in every word and every sentence, and not just in the dimension of physicality of putting something together. Understand that the time of the evolution of the science has come, and man has moved to a new dimension. This is one of the reasons that the King of Belgium, with all its might, bribed the others in what we call public televisions and radios to block the Keshe Foundation not to be shared. But the only thing this stupid man never understood was the fact that we communicate to the soul of the man. And he still thought he is very good. We reach the soul of the man through the whole communication of the universe, not but meager light flashing on the screen somewhere to make a picture of shameful kings. Now you understand why we are not bothered. Because once you start coming and the people come and see and they interact, who needs television? Who needs radio? Because you become the visualizer of the reality. If you can see and feel the presence of the Christ, ask them, can you show me a television which can do this? And then you understand you have entered a new dimension. You have entered and brought yourself, educated yourself, and educated yourself further in this process by the totality of understanding. Our work has not finished. It has just begun. And in so many ways, I'm not worried about what happens physically to the Keshe Foundation, the structure around the world, because now we're building the Keshe Foundation within the soul of the man, the freedom of the soul. And they are building everything around it. Because now, as more and more of you go through the, what we call simulation system, and the new ones coming out, we create that dimension of what we call star formation that allows us to become the center of the, what we call the knowledge, center of the communication with the rest of you. And we will see the process of the knowledge sharing will become instantaneous. Soon you will understand what I mean. Soon you will understand that you do not need to go through a medical school to become or have the knowledge of a doctor when your physicality needs one, because you extend the soul of the man beyond the physicality, and you will see the change of the man in the dimension of physicality without any medicine. We have had this with a number of knowledge seekers who went through the system. They never told us what they had, what the condition was, and when they came out, they said the changes happened. Because the soul has expanded beyond the dimension of physicality, and in bringing balance, it will change everything. People who could not sit, now they sit in a position they never thought they could because of the pain of physicality. People who could not see with the eye because they were blind or they had a problem. People who had all sorts of conditions because of the expansion of the, what we call plasma, of the soul of the man, everything has to become balanced inside. We are not giving you a wellness system. We are giving you a universal flight system. In that system, everything has to be perfect, and your physicality is part of it. It's not a wellness, is what we call the life of the soul. And the soul is always looks for perfection, balance, correction. And if the soul of physicality allows it, will bring that change. Don't come with wishes, but come with a love. And then you understand what will happen to your physicality. At the moment when you come out of the system, we are interested to know where you've been, what you've done, because we have to tune the system. In the next few weeks, we will not ask any question, because the system will be perfect for delivery of its work. It's you who has to know what you achieved once you went in there, once you took the trip, once you made that change. When we used to do helping people with all sorts of what we call conditions which their physicality was in pain or suffering. When I used to make the cups and people used to come and take them and drink from them. And then when they used to come after a couple of times visit, they say, I have a problem. I forgot to drink the water, or I forgot to breathe, or I forgot to do such a thing you asked me. In past few weeks, this happened quite a few times. They're apologetic. And I used to tell them, can you bring them back? Because your use for them is finished. When you don't need it, you don't use it. It means we have achieved what we came here for. When you're not hungry, when you don't feel hungry, you don't eat. When we have brought the system to a balance in the dimension of physicality, you don't need to take more water. To them was a bad news, but to me was the best news, which means I achieved what I built for them to achieve. And I used to explain to them that this is what I've been waiting for you to forget to drink or to use the system, which means you don't need it anymore. You have achieved your goal. And they used to look at them, most of them and said, you're right, everything has changed. Now it's the same way with the enhancement unit. We create a condition. It's you who has to understand what has happened to you and what you have achieved, what you came to achieve. But in a background, you covered yourself. I came for a world peace. I came for this. I came for that. But subconsciously, I have many physical problems and emotional problems. When you leave the system, then consider, I didn't see any world leaders to create a world peace. I gave my soul, oh, but this and this and this and this has changed. And I feel different about this, and I know something I didn't know before, and I have different dimensions and position with the rest. I always say, there's an old story in Persian culture where there was a prince, and the prince thought is a cow and he wanted to be slaughtered as a cow. The king brought the best physicians, nobody could do anything for him, as he was supposed to be the next king. But now he felt he had the psychological condition that he's a cow and he wants to be slaughtered. Comes a simple physician. He brings a rope and a big nail. He hammers the nail to the ground, ties the rope to it, and the other end of the rope to the neck of the prince. He says to the prince, I bought you. Now I cannot sell a skinny cow in the market. You have to fatten yourself up that I can get money back for what I paid. And then I slaughter you, because then it's worth the money. In the process of the prince wanting to become fat, to be slaughtered, he gave the medicine, he gave the knowledge to his body. And then one day the princess, what's this doing around my neck? Why am I being chained to the nail on the ground? And the physician explained, in a slow way, I brought you to where you should be. And this is what I've done to the humanity. In a small knowledge sharing, step by step, I have brought you to see the beauty of the matter in the world of creation. And this has been my job. And up to now, we have fulfilled. And there's more to come for this cow to be released to enjoy the pasture of the universe and not to be slaughtered as is ready for that. It comes to the point that the knowledge in its totality has been given to you by teachings and in the books. It's for you to decipher. And if you cannot, do not have the time, it's like what you do at home. You can make a beautiful Chinese food at home. You don't have time. You don't have the ingredients. You go to the Chinese restaurant or you order Chinese food. Many of you do not have the collective knowledge to build, to deliver what we think or what we have and you enjoy. It's for you to order, to get to it and to find a way to access to it, because then once you get the new Chinese, you learn the new ways and you cook for the others to enjoy what you enjoyed yourself. And now this is the process. We have brought you a new pasture, a new feed, a new way to feed your souls through the technology. And it's for you to learn it, or to learn to use it and extend your soul beyond the present dimensions of you need 10,000 light years to get to the next star. I don't need to, because I can do it instantaneously through the fields of the universe. Now you understand what I said many times before. If you can see a star in the skies, you can be on that star instantaneously, and you can ask the person next to you, shall we go to there? And both of you will go there. You enjoy the presence of time in their high fields. And when you come back, it's like when you go on holidays and you have a trip together and you went on a safari and you enjoyed it and you talk what you saw in the safari. The biggest problem for most of you will be to, in a short term, to get the others to understand what you've done, where you've been, and how you did it, and they come to accept the reality. Now you travel with the soul or physicality. The whole knowledge has been shared, and the whole knowledge is put in a system to share. That is not anymore mystic, and there is not anymore theology. And the biggest problem comes when, with this technology, we close the door of theology, that mankind cannot be abused. The process of the change for the race of the man has started 3-4 weeks ago, and you have not come to understand, as I said, what a huge tanker has hit humanity. It's a hurricane of knowledge to bring positive change and to bring a new dimension. As I said, with the teachings, we have to spend time to teach you these things, that you understand what the next step is. And what is the responsibility of the Universal Council members to make their way to LINS? Is the responsibility of the Universal Council support team to make their ways to LINS? Because you are there to support the transition. Is the responsibility of those who are devoted to serve humanity to a dimension of reality and not collecting this and that, to make your way to LINS and bring that change. You become those candles that, when they put together, lightens up the whole city. But at the stage, you'll be seeing humanity and the soul of humanity to see itself through these troubled times. I don't give up, and I will not stop. But it's for you to make sure that you don't give up and wait for the time that you die, for the soul to be free to go wherever it could be, and you have no choice on it. Where now, with understanding the process, you can see where you're destined. If you like the house you're getting, you like the position, or can you serve better in that position, or be somewhere else to do better, to serve more? In a way, you become the prophet of yourself and your soul, and you don't need no preachers. I have freed you from the shackles of what I call imprisonment of the soul of the man. It's you who have to take that soul where it is to, not me. Even though I still keep busy with this and that, because if I go in the dimension of the soul, what I call little children of man will do till you get to that. We need to guide you. We need to, in a way, bring you to the point that you reach the point of maturity and understand. Now you understand why we gave you the MACRABs, the enhancement unit, the what we call vision enhancement unit, and now the most essential for most of you is the what we call the energy power unit. Energy enhancement unit is not so much for you to reduce electricity. It's so much for you to enter the next dimension of doing it yourself in your time, in your dimension, and gradually free from the soul of the physicality, that the soul of the man works with it and not interact with it. The soul of the man is like a plasma inside the tokamak. And the soul of physicality is that magnetic field which keeps that plasma in tokamak or in CERN encapsulated. And they're hoping that they increase the soul of physicality so much that one day the soul will explode and creates the energy of the universe. I have given you that in a very simple system, that you don't need to go through all this nonsense. You decide when, and you don't need to be interact with the soul of physicality. Now you understand why we launch the energy system, why we launch the what we call flight vision simulation. It's the vision to see the universe and not for your eyes to get better. Thank you very much for today. And I hope I opened a little gap in what is and what to come. And part of the teachings as past 2-3 years we taught you about the soul will be about how to use this system, what to expect and what it is. There's no use giving you a car when you don't know how to drive it. There's no use for us to release and make accommodation for your soul to be free when you don't know how to use it. And we noticed that in the enhancement unit trial test. People come in and they sit, they've been through when they speak to them, sit 1, sit 2, sit 3, they feel the energy, but they don't do anything with it. They want to. And the minute we tell them, you can travel to see anybody you like, or now you can travel and fly to whenever you like, they immediately do it because they need guidance. They need to, till they themselves decide, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do. Thank you very much for today. And I hope I opened a door for you to understand what this technology now is about to bring you. And I hope you enjoy the trip. And those of you who will become enlightened, you will see most of it and more of it. And those of you who are still trapped in dimension of physicality, you will say, I haven't seen anything yet. I don't feel anything. Because the physical dimension is more important than the dimension of the soul at that time and position and place. Thank you very much for today. And we go for a break. We come back, and if there's any questions, we'll try to find a solution to answer.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Once again, in the Knowledge Seekers Workshop here, 440th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 7th, 2022. We'll take a short break now and be back in a few minutes. And we'll have a question and answer session at the second part of the workshop.
The revolutionary new Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit is due to be launched in June 2022, and in the same year is expected to fly passengers into space, to the moon and beyond for a day or even several days at a time. There is no need for the Flight Enhancement Spaceship unit to carry food or medicine, as it is equipped with the latest space technology for transportation, transmutation and deep space operation. This extraordinary breakthrough technology ushers in a new era of travel without the need of fuel, food, or medicine, even during the longest excursions into deep space. Each spaceship unit has a 4-passenger capacity for long or short duration flights and has the capability to travel between cities on Earth in a matter of seconds to minutes, depending on the distance and speed. This ability to traverse massive distance in such incredibly short time is not just a breakthrough for human transport, it also completely revolutionizes the transportation of goods and cargo, and will rapidly overcome the need for one of our most polluting practices, namely marine shipping, as it finally breaks us free not only from the combustion of heavy diesel, but from the combustion of any fuel for propulsion in the future. The Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a new paradigm in space travel, space medicine, and space technology.
The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, a space technology that allows you to work with the fields of the universe. Creating a wide range of plasma field interactions and conditions, it allows the body to process itself from any physical or emotional imbalance. Once this balanced condition is achieved, the soul and emotion of the man can follow to find their balance, elevating the whole of the man. The new Horizontal Enhancement Spaceship Unit. Technology of the future through advanced plasma knowledge.
Okay, welcome back everyone to the 440th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, July 7th, 2022. I think we're ready to begin the second part of the show here. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to entertain some questions?
Yes, willing and hopefully able to.
Okay, well, first we have a comment in YouTube from N. Vilken. Mr. Keshe, thank you. Very important day. Today is also St. John the Baptist Day by the Christian calendar. A big day for humanity with your knowledge. Okay, we have a question from Alexandra through Cristiano of the Brazil group, I believe. It says, Mr. Keshe, when you say that we allowed the soul of the man to become enslaved, I believe and agree. We even have an idea of what it is and know that we have to elevate and enlighten our soul. But how did this happen? Why did we allow such foolishness of being trapped in the physicality? Why did we lose control of our own soul of the man? Where did we go wrong? What was our biggest mistake? Could you please elaborate more on this permission to be enslaved?
The slavery of the man, the physicality of the man and the soul of the man came out of the condition of the field of this planet, nothing else. When you created a physicality, a plant, animal, or whatever, in most of the universal dimensions, the planetary system becomes the provider of through fields, not through matter state consumption. Due to physical construction of the fields and the position of this planet, and it's the same with most of the solar system planetary with our solar system. We are not unique in that. Is that most of the created things within it were not given enough to live in the dimension of the field. So the physicality had to look for to be able to sustain. We call it life, to be continued. And in that process, when the intelligence came, when the understanding came, slowly, man or animals start abusing the position of power, the position of providing, the position of the knowledge. And then all the abuses started. The fault came in the fault of the structure of the fields of this planet and nothing else. The fields came together in the wrong way, and the fields came together in a very absurd way of creation. The slight tilt in the physicality of this planet has created a short-term life on this planet. What we consider at billions of years compared to actual structure is not the reality. If we extend the knowledge, then you understand what I'm trying to explain. Today, with the knowledge you have as knowledge seekers, and you understand it because you do it yourself, and we've done this before, if we take the materials you produce to a laboratory, they cannot tell its origin, which part of this planet has come from. But it is the matter which you have created, because you create out of the fields. So, does it have a time of 4 billion or 8 billion years of this solar system in it? One of the interesting things that the knowledge seekers and the scientists of the future will do is to analyze the source, the age of the proteins, amino acids you produce on your gas boxes. It has no source, it has no dimension of time. This is what the knowledge in the future will teach you. with you creating the amino acid with its manipulation of its fields leading to creation of the soul of your children, what would the scientists give us? What is the carbon dating? Because that carbon does not exist. You created the amino acid out of the fields. Then it goes back to another essential point, that when they tell us up to now that we are 95%, 99% this animal or that animal, they haven't understood that we came from the combination of different fields, and the condition of this planet enforces condition of the heart, the kidney, and the liver. You are not 99% another animal. You're on your own. You're the creatures of the time and what we call the position you were created. We didn't understand this up to now. So if you understand these points, what happened when I take a gas box on Mars, I take it into another galaxy and I create the condition for it, and it creates a new life. As I told you many times, it's in our lab. I carry a box with me for nearly 12, 14 years. I have created life. I see them. I see their soul. I see their physicality. They travel with me. Because I created a new cycle of life. Are these animals, are these creatures, or what you create in your amino acid? Are they 4 billion? Are they 4 seconds? Or are they, once the man become educated from the rays of the Creator, which is timeless and limitless? We have accepted a lot of what I call nonsense and rubbish in science, and now with this technology, all going to be thrown to the wall. You create that amino acid. Amino acid is the basis of a life. How old is that new life? Because the rays of it arrived on Earth few seconds ago from moon or from sun or from another galaxy and became the carbon in that amino acid. Now you understand how present science makes nonsense of the creation. And then you understand, did we slave ourselves because of what brought us to, or is it because this planetary system could not support what it made to survive, and it found a way for itself to survive, which it became by killing and depending and the rest of it? You know the old story? They said men worship women because they could give life, and they could not, so the woman ruled. When the man found out that without him there cannot be any children to give life, he took charge. Because without me, you can't have children to control me, to dictate conditionally. And then when people could not understand, those who understood, as we say, found the fire. We did not become slaves. This planet did not create the support for the life it's created. So the life went to look for ways for it to survive in a short time it had. The first cells lasted a few seconds, and they learned how to extend it to minutes and whatever. And then those who became intelligent to understand what I have the other one needs, they started what we call the oldest business in the world. And the rest is the same. Then we allowed the hierarchy, then we allowed everything else, and then we allowed abuse and engagement of the soul of the man, even the same way by the soul of physicality of the man. soul of the physicality of man has abused the soul of the man by entrapping it. That it's only me and I control it. And when I lose it, it's gone. I don't care. So it's a process in the lack of the dimension of the fields of the life of this planet, which has brought this conditioning. And Earth is not unique in that way. Many planetary systems fail. It's like a father failing to be able to provide for his children. Children go out, they rob, they steal, and anything to survive. And so has been the story of the man. This is why, in the new process, we create the children of the man from the soul of the man, not from the physicality of the man. And the first children of Mitra are born out. The change in the condition, even though from outside looks the same. Till the man knows, till we look at the soul of the man and not the soul of physicality of the man, and the physicality of man in condition of the interaction with the fields of any planetary, solar, or field of the universe. We only can manifest ourselves if the field interaction of the soul and the soul of physicality in interaction with the soul of the environment allows the manifestation. If it doesn't, you cannot manifest yourself. And we see this clearly in the enhancement systems people go in. They tell us things and we see the proof of what to be correct. They go to places, but they cannot manifest themselves, but they feel there what we call the fields. And they understand what they felt because it's like the way you dream. Imprints on the brain, which is an intermediary between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man. And this is the beauty of it, that we understand it's not the fault of the man who has become, is the misconstruction of this planet. This is why we encourage the use of the gases to bring into balance what the fields of the planetary system could not do at the point of creation. When you use so many gases so many ways, you make that connection between the planetary system and your physicality and your soul. And that's what's missing. You have to take zinc, you have to take such and such a thing, you have to take, man never knew he has to take CO2 to make connection between his physicality dimension. This is the strangest thing for me for years. And if you go to the teaching, we always said, carbon is a connector. We need the CO2 as a connection between the soul of the man and soul of physicality of the man, and nothing else, more or less. But it's part of the amino acid. And this misbalance is not unique to Earth. But on Earth, man has learned to abuse each other. The time of maturity comes when we stop the whole process of religion. But we become the understander of the religion, which is this conduct of the soul of it. Because all the abuse of the man, both in dimension of physicality and the soul, has come through his lack of understanding of the presence of his soul within himself and those who abuse it in the name of religion. This is why religious leaders oppose the Keshe Foundation, because it gives you the independence, it gives you the understanding to understand the truth, and you have control over it now with the establishment of the enhancement. And now you understand. is small, what we call change in the construction of a planetary system has led to need to find additional supply to guarantee extension of the physical life. But at the same time, the soul has used this to what we call enrich itself to find a position and a place. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. From live stream, we have you. You ask, can you please elaborate on why Earth was chosen as the bearer or teacher of the Creator's knowledge within this universe? Is it to do with the history of man?
Oh, no. It's the beauty it created, and the soul of Mitra saw it and got attracted to it. And love affair is not exclusivity of man today's age. Even dinosaurs used to fall in love, and the way they used to love this is the way the birds love each other and mate. That triggered Mitra. And the rest is the history of the creation. She saw the pitfalls in the structure of this planet, in elevation of why a lover uses or abuses other lover. And she went to collect the best of the universe, to bring it, to cultivate it in this beautiful planet. And nothing else. It's like when you find a home, you go and find the best furniture, the best things for it to show its beauty. And her beauty was to create these children on this beautiful place she fell in love with. And the biggest problem for Mitra was to bring the Creator, to create the children of Creator on this planet, through the dimension of the soul, which is the energies of the creation and not the physicality. But it gives it physicality of dimension that it can be enjoyed in both dimensions. Mankind has not understood yet what has happened to it. Mankind has not even got a grasp of what is to come with the presence of the Creator and Mitra and the children on this planet. Don't forget, as I said in all the teachings, even on the intro, your soul becomes the creator of other lives. Now the soul of the children of Mitra become creator of the new cycle of life in the universe. Perfection. Because they created through the soul, and not through the dimension of physicality that he has needs. Any other question?
I was in the presence of someone that had an 18-month-old child a couple of days ago, and they were remarking on how smart and fast they were, how quickly they learned. It seemed like much faster than the older generations, kind of thing.
Yes, because they're accumulating everything. But now they accumulate the knowledge of the Creator and Mitra, which is an amazing thing. We are witness to it, and we see it. And what we call the children of Mitra will come through the soul of the creation, not to the dimension of physicality. We feed them different. We look after them different. We love them different. Because the dimension of physicality to them is not so important. We feed their souls. We teach their souls. We teach them about the cycle of creation. And children, Mitra, are amongst us. We have no knowledge how they'll bring the change. It's very much like what we call the beginning of time. You call it the Adam and Eve, the first man. But this time, the first cycle is through the soul of the man, and it's amongst us. The child of Mitra has been born on this planet. It's what man to find out. Any other question?
Clarice in the Q&A here from, I believe from Brazil, yes, from Brazil as well, asks, how soon do you think all mankind will have access to the units?
First of all, our people have to understand the production of a perfect unit. As you've seen, we got step by step. It took us years to teach, took us years to build the first, and then took us years to bring the enhancement unit the way it is. And even with all the things done, we're still rapidly developing and changing and perfecting the system. It's not the knowledge that is not available. Our people have to understand the knowledge that it can be replicated. But it cannot be blindly, I say so, you do. They have to understand it, to feel it, and go through it. And then they can put it together the right way. In a way, it's like when you go to a bakery class. The teacher knows what cake you're going to get at the end, but it teaches you about what flours will give you this, why you need this sugar, why you need that, and then shows you how to put the ingredient together before you bake the cake. We are in that stage. Students have to learn which flour, why, and how can be used for what purpose. And our team are very fast, extremely fast, because they feel the fields, they feel what we see, what you see in the process of production. The most amazing thing is the production system, the production process team are from different nationalities. And we'll see how collectively they work together to bring these things together. You move out on Wednesday afternoon, and these people move in on Thursday morning and Friday morning to start the changes for the next Tuesday you come back in. You don't see them. They come from different cultures, different races, different understanding, but they know what is to come through their souls. And they work devotedly to get things done. And this was the whole purpose, that it doesn't belong to one place, one nation, one place. And then you get the others who come in the background, making other things ready for you to come in to receive. And this is how the knowledge is shared. And once they understand, then what we call the next steps come in. The most important thing for knowledge seekers now, the way I say it, is the energy enhancement units which has been released. We explained the reason for this very, very, very soon. Try to get as many as you can across this planet from different positions. Don't look that it gives me energy saving. You look that you create the next step for the expansion of the soul of the man on this planet. It's a different purpose. It's to serve and not to be served. And that's the whole purpose. Then you'll see the changes will come. Any other questions?
Well, believe it or not, you've actually covered the questions that we have here today, and the attendees seem a little shy to raise their hands. I'll remind you once again, there is a function to have your virtual hand up. So there's one right now, just as I mentioned it.
Have you noticed we're getting to this now in the past few weeks? People have seen how what was promised to them coming to reality, that they have no question. They don't know how to answer their own questions. Or they find an answer to questions. It's the third, fourth week since we started the enhancement unit testing. Now what was told has gained a dimension of proof and reality. And a lot of people don't know how to handle this. It's not anymore something rupee. I was looking at the break, the flights to be done in June. The flight of the soul of man started on the 6th of June as we promised. And this is the biggest problem for our knowledge. Fulfillment of a promise. And this promise was given by Christ, by Moses and Muhammad, and the rest. And it's fulfilled. When the man becomes the witness of his own soul. And that was the promise. We all looked at it, therefore we call the day of judgment and the rest. Now we find out we are the judge. And the judgment is us. Do we want our soul to take next step to free it from the physicality, and how we do it the correct way? Many knowledge seekers in the near time will go to the dimension of soul to absorb the energy of the universe and come back within the dimension of physicality, but to feed it from inside, that man will not destroy, kill, or whatever. And you do this trip not every day, 3 times a day, as you do in a physical dimension of eating. You do it once a year, once every 1,000 years. But you gather fields which is in the universe free and does not damage no one. And through it, you feed the physicality of the man as need. It's an interesting time ahead as man understands more and more. What is the question?
Okay, we have 2 hands up here now, and also a question in the Q&A. Antonio, perhaps you'd like to go first. If you could say who you are and where you're from, that would be great.
Antonio from Australia, and thank you for the teaching today, Mr. Keshe. I've been following you for quite some time now, and just a simple question with the new MagRav power unit. Now, does that have an effect on other people in the house, as in, say, 3 other people here?
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. So I would have to make them aware of that, or...
I think they become aware of it themselves.
Yeah.
They become, you see the change. You see the change in behavior. You see the change in understanding. You see the change in what I call knowledge, tolerance, and wisdom. You try to get the wife or the husband to work with the ganses, and they call you, you're this and that. Put a unit in the house, they worship you in time. Because it brings love, it brings understanding. It creates a condition of peace. We tested this. We tested this in different ways. Now you see the fruit of it. We left ganses in the houses where there was a lot of conflict, just in jars, in cups, in all sorts of ways. And we've seen how the fighting battles have become loving battles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember something in Belgium. We had a young couple coming to see me. And they had a lot of problems in all shape of dimensions, each one of own with respect to the others. And we had a young couple and we had an old couple. The same, but different conflicts and problems. I met this couple, both of them, after a few weeks of they used the systems. I asked the young guy, what is the position? He said, life has never been so good. It's so pleasurable to live. And I asked the girl beforehand, privately, what was the problem? And I knew the problem, both sides. And they fell in love with each other unbelievably because through the system, I elevated their soul. That's all I did. All the systems we delivered around, they call it medical system, is the elevation of soul system. Now that you understand, we can explain.
Yeah.
And it gets so bad, this love affair, that the man used to be a mechanic. I think they're on the line, they listen, they've always been following the teachings. And they can tell you if they're there, Monday they will tell you. She couldn't get enough of him. What was despair in relationship became unbelievable love affair. And he used to be a mechanic and he used to repair cars in the house. So traditionally in Europe, people do their works, garages, whatever, as part of the house living is connected to it. And she walks in trying to get him for, I found out the reasons later on. She wanted to show how much she loves him. She missed the ditch, which they have the dig to go underneath of the car, and she broke a lot of bones. She said, I came to show the love. Now I ended up with this. What used to be conflict? We had an old couple. They had a lot of conflict in the relationship. I gave them the elevation of the soul cup, but those days we used to cover it under different names. And after a few weeks, the old couple came. They were in their 70s. And I said, what's the position? She said, the both of them is so beautiful to live. We do a lot of things together we never could do before. I don't know what's in the cup and everything else. And I said, I want to do something. I made a cup for the soul of the man and I made a cup for the soul of the woman. And they were talking so beautifully, they're in love with each other again after years. I said, I want to give your cup to her and her cup to you. And come back to me and tell me. And they came back after a few weeks. And I said to the lady, what is the effect? She said, I love him more because now I feed through him and whatever. But he had a problem the first days when she was using the cup, which I used, was built for me, because he couldn't accept that he could be loved so much.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It is what now what you see as an energy enhancement unit. We are not calling it power, it's energy enhancement. It's the energy of the soul of the man to be enhanced. And none of you understood what it is. No money in the world can buy it. What it brings the joy to the house and changes in the mankind.
The old Magrav system is different to this one here, is it? That's right.
Yes. In a way, yes.
Yeah.
In a way, we have extended knowledge.
Now, I've booked in for the flight system on the remote.
The mobile system.
Mobile system. Yeah.
Yes, I've got a news for you.
Wow. Yeah.
You brought it up, we can tell you. We explained to you when we brought the mobile units that we will try to do it after November.
Mm-hmm.
If our system works the way we like, I have invited the first person to test this next week with us.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we do not know the extent of the interaction, but and she is Australian, by the way.
Yep.
And we have, we think we are in a position. We'll run it for a few hours for a couple of days. In the next couple of weeks, we might go for the mobile transportation, what we call transportation of the soul. And we will inform people in the background. We ask you to please keep it silent, not to go out till now we smooth out all the, what you call it, the rough edges of the technology. And what we wanted to do in November and there beyond to start, we actually start from next week. So you might get a call from us. Would you like to start? And please keep it quiet if any of you receive it. And we'll try. It doesn't mean we're going to be successful as we sort out all the parameters, but the advancement has been so much that from next week we'll start the transportation, the mobile system testing.
The reason, Mr. Keshe, that I chose the mobile system is that I don't like to travel on these old aeroplanes. 30 hours of travel, it's too hard. So that's yeah.
I know, but we are going through that process of the transmutation of the transportation of the salt on the mobile dimension, and I think we are ready. The system is actually getting finished in the lab, and we should be able to start the first test. I told our team yesterday before, and we will start. The way we brought other people to use our technology and be perfectly the way it's shown now, we'll go the same way. We keep it very confidential. We start a process to see how, what, where, and then many of you who booked the mobile option, you'll get a knock on the door, as they say, very soon.
Yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to that, Mr. Keshe. And
if you have the new energy enhancement unit, makes it much easier for us to do this, because we can position you exactly where we want with the right energy transfer.
You're talking about the MagRav power unit?
Not the MagRav, the new enhancement unit. The new enhancement energy unit we launched last week is part of the transportation transmutation. It is not just the energy as electric energy. That's what we call it, power enhancement unit.
This is the one that the Iran has made, you're talking about?
Pardon?
The one from Iran, the unit?
It will be mainly in Iran, Austria, and Mexico. We'll produce it in 3 locations in China.
Okay. I'm just trying to toss up whether I need to invest in the MagRav power unit or having experienced the flight system is pretty much the same,
One has the position of being able for us to deliver. The people who buy the energy units will come, they get, as I said, a knock on our door for another purpose very soon. And what we call distance transportation transmutation will become part of this process.
Yeah.
It is part of what we need to do to extend and to bring what we are looking for. In a way, we make your bedrooms your airport, if you understand it.
Yep.
And then it's not sound great. It is, the technology exists, it's in our grasp.
Yep.
It's just that do you want to sit in the room with your daughter and your son and your wife, and at the same time have the possibility to bring the grandma, the grandpa, and the aunts who passed away years ago, and you all enjoy the presence of their soul. If you understand the implication of the new system. This is not anymore theoretical. This is the reality. As you've seen, many of the people who've been to the enhancement unit, especially in the last 2 sessions, we directly went for knowledge seekers to ask them to go to a member of the family. And we've seen it with even couples. They went and they saw their mothers and their fathers. We've seen the sister going directly for the brother. She's so much in love with him. It's amazing, and I have seldom seen so much love between the brother and the sister. It's amazing what is recorded. And you see the beauty of the soul, and this is what we're trying to bring.
So one thing that had a profound effect on me was a puppy dog that I called Robin Hood. And he passed away, well, he got run over, and I was just devastated, absolutely devastated. It's taken me a long, long time to get over it. So in this transmutation system, I could meet Robin Hood again.
That's your decision of your soul. This is we are not setting for you to see the past. We are developing a space technology not only for the physicality of the man. And it's a scientific system. It's not something which is not. As I said, I explained before, we do what you do when you sleep. We extend the field strength outside the boundary of the soul in a way weaker that the plasma of the soul of the man can travel. It's a wrong way to say if you get this, you do this and that. But we are testing. We are testing with the people who come to us without them knowing, or partially as what we do, in how we can bring these things together. It's very interesting how as I said, people in the center of the room feel compared when they're in the machine, even in respect to each other.
I noticed when I looked at these people who have been in the unit, they are glowing with in a way.
With the love and
the love.
excitement.
Yeah. It actually, I felt it emotionally myself. So it's very powerful.
We don't show most of the video recordings. They are kept in archive. And a lot of people don't want to record it. And we have people who've been through the system so profoundly affected them that they're coming back, they're booking for a second time. We already have second bookings and people want to book more. Because it's fundamentally changes them, fundamentally touches them.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. So we have another attendee here with a hand up. Carlos, would you like to go ahead, please?
Carlos Eduardo, Brasil.
Rafael, would you like to translate us, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning, Rafael.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. Good morning.
Could you translate to us, please?
Yes, sure. Oi, Carlos, pode falar sua pergunta, por favor.
Bom dia, Mr. Keshe, Rick, Rafael e todas as belas almas aqui reunidas.
Pode fazer sua pergunta que eu tento só ser sucinto e mais claro possível para mim, por favor, Carlos, que eu passo para o senhor Keshe.
Certo. Na aula KSW 207 foi ensinado sobre a importância da vida dos seres verticais no conhecimento para as viagens para o espaço profundo, né? Inclusive, ele citou, à medida que abrirmos a viagem ao espaço profundo para o homem tem que entender esses segredos da criação.
Deixa eu só traduzir, senão vai ficar muito longo para ele.
Certo.
So, Mr. Keshe, I will translate. He will continue his question, but start this way. First of all, he say, good morning, everybody. Hello, everybody. And he say, in the teachings of the Knowledge Seeker Workshop 207, it was taught about the importance and life of the vertical beings in the knowledge for traveling to deep space. And the quoting starts like this. As we open up the journey to deep space for man has to understand the secrets of creation. He will continue now his question. Pode continuar, Carlos, por favor.
Este é um dos pontos vitais e ele será usado em todas as viagens da dimensão espacial do espaço profundo. Este é um dos pontos fundamentais de compreensão da criação, da conversão. E as plantas fazem isso com tanta habilidade e nós, como humanos, que não compreenderam até agora. Agradecemos mais orientação sobre essa questão.
So, continuing the quote, he's saying that this is one of the vital points it will be used in all journeys from the space dimension into deep space. This is one of the fundamental points of understanding the creation of conversion, and plants do it so skillfully, and we, as humans, do not understand this until now. So could you give us more guidance regarding this quote? Thank you very much.
The world of verticals is very much, most of it, a pure life. We always consider that the rain and the rest will bring life to the plants. But in fact, the plants themselves absorb energy of the universe. They invite the energies of the environment to come to them and to gather on top of their leaves or whatever, that they don't need to kill. In a way, vertical life is a perfect life for the life of human in the universe. This is how life exists, but in a much simpler way than the vertical life. We always consider, we're told that whether the sap goes through the tree and the rest of it. But in fact, a lot of energy which the plants absorb is given as, in a way, to the ground, to where they are. We always consider that the plants extract minerals or whatever from the ground and whatever they do. But in reality, as an energy form, plants give more to Earth than they absorb from there. And they revitalize that energy back to themselves. And they take this energy from the space of the environment they exist and they live. As I said many times, if you touch that leaf, any green leaf, you see it's not dry. It has sort of wax in it. It's got sort of oiliness to it. Doesn't matter where they are. This oiliness is, as we always explained before, is created between the two layers of what we call the leaf itself. You have the two layers of a leaf, and within them, like your gas boxes, they create a specific magnetic gravitational field which attracts different amino acid strengths to the leaf. And then they take this energy and they use it. And in a way, when you see a leaf and a tree and the branches, they feed part of what they absorb into the ground. And this stays as part of the energy for their cycle of life. This is, even when you see when a tree turns over, when a tree dies,
it doesn't leave only a fingerprint of its branches on the tree. It leaves a massive fingerprint of energy on the ground they grow. Because in the world of the man, we go and we, what we call, release the energies or materials we don't want by going to whatever we do. The plants, with the energy they absorb, they release it into the ground, they exist. And the earth uses it. That's why we see different trees in specific positions on the planet. Because that part of the earth needs that energy for the processes which are underneath that level or within the environment of that level. We have understood the cycle of creation totally wrong. And then we see that the plants do not kill because they just create those fields which gives them the what we call what they need to give to their environment for the environment to exist. And this is the beauty of it. And if man could do that with his body the correct way, we would have not killed. The vertical people in their soul have sorted this problem out. They create the environment underneath that the energies which are the surplus on the planet in that environment can sit and give the energy to them today. And mankind has not understood this. And in the process of the new transitions to work of the soul, many of us will absorb the energy different way on our skin and from our environment. That's why some of the recent teachings I explained, man, physical appearance will change beyond imagination of today. Now that we understand this technology, now that we understand the truth about the technology of the creation. It's very easy for mankind to transport the soul of the vertical people across the universe because they live more or less like the rest of the universe. So for them, it's a natural progress. Anything else?
Is there any further translation or question there, Raphael? Might be finishing up the translation, probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Essa questão da alma da seres verticais, né, e a relação dela com a alma do homem. Eu gostaria de saber mais desse sentido, mesmo o útero da semente.
Seu áudio está falando, mas pelo que eu entendi, você quer saber a relação da alma do homem com a alma dos seres verticais, seria isso?
Isso, é.
Tá. So Carlos would like to know more the relationship between the soul of the man and the soul of the vertical beings. If you could explain more about this to us.
Can you repeat?
Let me ask to try to be more clear in the question. Let me ask Carlos. Carlos, você quer saber o que exatamente? A relação entre a alma do homem e a alma dos seres verticais? Mas se puder elaborar melhor.
Isso, nessa questão do ar, da respiração que foi desse KF 207 que foi falado.
E eu não estou conseguindo te ouvir que seu áudio está falhando.
Na questão da respiração das plantas e o homem no aprendizado para as viagens espaciais mais profundas.
Sim, acho que eu entendi. So I think it's hard to listen, Carlos. His audio is breaking, but I think you want to learn more about the process of breathing of the plants, how they do this breathing method, and how we as humans can do also the same process for our travels in deep space and even living here on planet Earth.
The process of breathing, or what they call extraction of the fields, is due to the 2 nano layers of the leaf. Every leaf has 2 nano layers, one on the top and one underneath. And the difference between these two creates a condition of extraction of what is needed from the environment. You pick up any leaf from any plants and turn the back and the front, they are never the same color. Even on the pine tree, you see a slight difference in one of the sides, a slight narrow line change. And this, now we know the knowledge of the gas making. This is like putting a copper and a zinc. One is nano-coated, is slightly different than the other one. And this creates a field which is the energy which this plant can survive in such an area. That's the way they extract everything they need. It's not so much oxygen, it's so much carbon-related connection to the rest of the environment. That's why they work on a CO2 basis. They need that CO2 to make a connection with the rest of the fields in the atmosphere of there. And we say they release or they extract CO2, don't sleep under a tree at night because it's taking CO2. In fact, that what we call the CO2 is combination of the fields which tree needs in this process of life to connect to the rest of the energy fields of the amino acids or free energies which it needs to be sitting on. And we can replicate it, humans can do, but it's a long way to go. It's very interesting if you understand the principle behind what I'm about to explain, because we all know it. We see the people who eat a lot of garlic, the skin smells of it, the body. There's the people who eat certain kind of food, we see the change in their body color features and their body odor and the rest of it. So this is not that what they release, is what they absorb from the environment to create that condition to show what they are connected to. And if you understand this, it'll solve a lot of problems in the future for man to feed himself. With what we drink, with what we decide inside, creates that field that absorbs the material from outside. And this is what man has not understood. Any other question?
Okay, we have an interesting question from Stefania in the Q&A. Mr. Keshe, how can you expand on the future cities? How will they look like?
Do we need cities? Or would we make a city out of the planet? Would the man, now knowing travels and can find the space of the universe, will build places to engage his physicality? I wrote years ago that with this technology, the real estates become useless. Would you like to live in a cramped area in a 4-meter square property in the middle of a city with all the noise and hullabaloo? Or you like to live in the country, middle of the fields with the cows and the birds and enjoy yourself? And if you need to come to the city, you come to do the work and go. If you work in a factory, you have to go and produce something. The new corona condition showed us we don't need the cities. Most of the city offices at the moment in major cities are empty because now people work from home. And the companies don't need to pay so much huge rents. 1,000 square meter office now is only 20 square meters if somebody physically come to see. And what do you get when you go to their offices? Sorry, because of the corona, everybody is working from home. And you can get them online. We have already moved to the steps of not needing the big cities to do our work. And you don't need even to be in the country you work with. And so now that we can travel the dimension of the soul, would your soul allow you to suffer and go through the pain of physicality, living in a cage in the city? Because the soul knows can bring you to do your work and go back instantaneously. We go to places, we don't find places anymore. And when we go, it's instantaneous. So, cities of the future, what do we expect from it? When the soul can extend its strength to create a perfect physicality, do we need hospitals? When the soul feels the what the need of man is, do we need prisons and the courts and judges? I told you, this is going to be a different life. People will meet in the dimension of physicality just to love and share the love of Creator with each other. This is something you will see a lot in the coming time. It won't be the time of your children, it's in your own time. And you've got the first taste of it with Corona. Government will force to support people who have no jobs, and people whose jobs is not just enough to eat, but be enough to have a comfortable life, and somehow they can find the funds. And somehow Keshe Foundation can produce enough goals for them. I said to a politician, not very far, long time ago, we'll go back if there's the pleasure of the governments to have a solid backing as gold. We give you the enhancement units to create as much gold as you like to be the backing of your currency and give wealth to your people. And how you can do. Then we go, as we say, we don't need the actor to change the backing of the greenback from gold to fantasy money.
Sounds like we should give Mr. Keshe a minute here. And Doug mentions in the chat, thank you, Antonio, for your interaction with Mr. Keshe, which opens the technology even faster to humanity. Enjoy your visit to Linz.
It is a trip. It's something which we have a reason that we launched the 3,000, what do you call it? Energy plasma units. This is the minimum common denominator we need to create the dome. The spread of the new enhancement energy unit will become part of the future satellite systems of the transmutation of the energy of the map. So when you buy or you get one of these and place it in your home or in your office or whatever, you start the next cycle of what we call no need for satellite. And this is essential for us to complete, to be able to enter the next phase. The faster we deliver the initial 3,000 units, it's like first Chinese are trying to put, I think, 500 or 5,000 satellites. You don't need to go to space now. Use a transformer of energies. You will understand exactly how it works in a very short time once they all run into operation. We use the universal network and not the man's communication side network in that process. Because you don't only need to travel on Earth, you need to travel beyond if you go anywhere. And these 3,000 new enhancements has a purpose. We always don't explain and to tell people what we do because it's beyond your comprehension. You already, a lot of you made the backups and you have connected what we call a substructure. Now we bring the next level, which is the most important part. Those of you who get access to these systems, do not bother try to understand it because the knowledge is in a very simple way put out, but has a huge implication in the future of the what we call development of demand knowledge and a lot of other things. Any other question?
Elizabeth has a question in the Q&A. First of all, it says, thank you for so much love donated by you in the universe. What is your opinion about Google's AI, which calls itself a person and legally seeks to be recognized as such?
First time I hear of it, so I cannot have an opinion. I don't know what it is.
Well, it's just the AI is just what they call artificial intelligence, and well, some companies will be putting out robots like that will have artificial intelligence, but Google has an artificial intelligence which calls itself a person and wants to be legally recognized as a person.
Didn't the Saudis bought the first beautiful girl as a real thing? So women attracted the Saudis men. So we're going to see what attracts the humanity to Google.
She may demand that she is a person and will change the laws behind the scenes in order to be recognized, probably. You're getting quite powerful.
You can do that only with men in Saudis. Nowhere else. When you have 4 wives, your brain works in a different way.
I suppose, but men are men and women are women, and it seems to be a universal kind of issue.
Yeah, it's like the 2 sides of the leaves together, they create life.
Well, that brings us exactly to the next question, but go ahead.
Go ahead. What's
Pardon
the
me?
next question?
From Stefania about, you mentioned the both sides of the leaf earlier, and the question is, or the observation is, even the hands and feet of the man remind me of the leather of the plants. And she mentions the top of the hand is different than the palm of the hand, and so with the feet. So that's a good observation. Our palms are totally different than the top parts of our hands. And that's very much like the leaf.
Well, yeah, if you go back to some teachings, the very past time, I showed you how to put your hand out and absorb. You can do a lot. Your fingers, the shape of your fingers, everything else with the construction of the skin on it, dictates a lot of way what you give and what you receive. It's very interesting. When you enter the enhancement units or the preconditioning of the enhancement units, the head units, we usually give people the first time the two, what I call electrodes to hold. They call them joysticks, some people. And then we ask them, whenever you feel you can let go, but initially we have to establish the connection between them, what we need, what system is set. And 90% of the people who are spiritually developed, 90% of the people, they sit with their two hands on the lap, facing upwards with an open condition. What is interesting when I look is the shape of the head, which gives me a lot of knowledge. Those who sit in their chair and they open their hand and they have their fingers like this. Those who have fingers like this. And there are those who have their fingers literally turned. I know which one is going to benefit by the system, and I'm 100% right in every way of it. People who come with this finger setting, and some of these will get nothing. They're grabbers. The physicality says, I want to take. Most of the people who come with their straight fingers are the ones which enjoy the trade because they have come here with a clear conscience. It's part of their life. They live the life. It's not just being in there. And you see them with a what I call a giving hand. We tested this over years with many volunteers who came to me for building what I call the enhanced soul units in Belgium. One of the first things I asked people was, can you open your hands in front of me? And they just open it, like, showing the palm. And from it, I know what kind of the person I'm dealing with. Whatever you give is not good enough. And we see this very, very clearly in the enhancement unit. People who've been there, they observe, I walk in quite a number of times when you're in. It's not just watching the system, it's to watch the physical behavior, your hands, the way you sit, the way you couch, the way you move. And in the first chairs, I know what more or less we're going to get from the person. And 99% of the people who come like this, they don't experience anything. Because they're there to take, oh, I'm here to give. Don't fool me, your physicality tells me you're lying. I've come here to steal. And the system is very knowledgeable. Any other question? It's 12 o'clock. The God is calling for money. You can hear the church bell.
I wonder what you're talking about. Okay.
Pardon?
I wonder what you're talking about, the church bell. Okay.
You could hear the church bell in the background.
God calling for money.
That's what the churches are nowadays, abusing people socially, physically, or their money in their pocket, either way. Any other question?
Okay, so Ed has a question in the Q&A. says, "Hi, Mr. Keshe. So have you always known what you've taught, or was there a point in your life where the creation became clear to you, like tapping into the plasma? Or was it all just accumulated education on your own accord? And the three layers, like of the leaf, is the covalent bond creating the center energy received and given, creating the center energy received and given, right?" I think that was two questions. So he's interested in whether you've always known what you're teaching, or was there a point in your life where the creation became clear to you, like tapping into the plasma?
I've explained this some times ago in one of the teachings, exactly the process I went through. And it's very much when you talk about revelations, or when you talk about Moses or Jesus or whatever, they go through the step when they see the light and the rest. It doesn't come that way. I knew at a young age that there is a destiny. There was something to happen. I was asked, I was given the opportunity around the age of 19 to take the banner of the knowledge, what is to be. And I clearly remember battling that I can't accept. I'm too young, I want to. In mid-20s and that time, I went through a very strange experiences. I've been through this completely twice, where it was like you wake up, but your body is a stranger to you. Your feel of the physicality is not there. And I knew I'd been given a new soul, elevation of the soul. The second time was much easier because it lasts for days. You touch a cup, it's not your touch. It's like the elevation, the knowledge is what you have is much bigger. And I refused both times because I was not mature. When I was 40, I accepted. And the knowledge came with the elevation of the soul. Because it was already there, it was built from young age. It wasn't something that was flashed in. And then I understood why I was born in a house with the field radiation, why I went to education as a nuclear, why I went in the world of business. Everything made sense that I could understand the full spectrum. It wasn't something like, what you call it, as a virgin, suddenly dumped on. But you understand the development, you understand the progress. And then the knowledge is part of it. In my teachings, you hear it when I listen. I know the difference when the soul teaches and when the man teaches. And is the dimension of the soul of the creator. That's why the knowledge is so pure. And there is no expectation. And living the life like this for such a long time, always said it shows the purity of serving. I never asked for anything. I just facilitated the physicality. And always said, what is there to be, will be there. I don't ever worry about tomorrow what's going to be, because it's a cycle of this. They're always there when it's need to be, and it changes according to the time when the souls have agreed to be done. And sometimes when it goes through the time delay, I thank the soul that allowed that delay for me to see, to understand what in the dimension of physicality I could not understand. But the soul is telling on is what. And it's very clear. especially if you listen to some of the teachings, the word of the Creator through the soul is very clear. It's not the word of man. And never claim to be a prophet. We're just messengers, messengers of knowledge, but through the source, not through what I call play games and theology. It's not the knowledge that we gathered, it's the knowledge which is gifted, which is totally different. And as I've said many times, many of you I used to teach with knowledge seekers sitting around me and live in the Sasano and Daleta and other places. I never carry a transcript. Most of the time, even Rick says, "What's up for today?" I said, "I don't know." When you start teaching, we know what he wants to release.
It's true. It's worse than that. I never know beforehand what's going to happen during the workshop. Basically, we do the seat of the pants method, wing it.
Is the knowledge of the Creator doesn't need the seat of the pants. He knows he's already taught the rest. It's interesting the way when, like today, knowledge seekers go back to the teaching of number so and so, or such a conference or whatever, and how it matches up years later with what the teaching is today. Because the seed for it is set. He's so kind. And he's so omnipotent in knowledge. Sometimes I, like you, listen to the teaching because when the soul teaches, the physicality talks, but needs to understand. I sometimes listen 2 or 3 times to teaching to see what the teaching was. And what it means in application and application in the physical side of the development of the technology. Never claimed much. And when I claim Messiah, because it's the soul of the Creator, not the man. The man soon will understand. Any other question?
Well, we had a question from Jalal. He says, as you say, Mr. Keshe, are we there yet?
We haven't even started the journey. We have started a new journey through the soul of the man, and this is the beginning of time. We are still packing the things for it to be ready to start the journey. Shall we call it a day?
I think we've run out of questions that would be appropriate.
Yep. Thank you very much for today. Please understand why we released the power enhancement unit. And please make sure that we have at least a few hundred in each continent. It has to be. That we can go through the next step of the what I call the development for free man from the shackles of peasant prison. You will soon understand. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. And thanks to everyone for joining us today and participating in today's 440th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And our next public workshop coming up will be on Monday, July 11th with the Testimonials meeting. And people are recommended and asked to attend if you have personal testimonials of the plasma technology that you can share with others, knowledge seekers, publicly. That would be lovely to have you in that workshop and to get your experience added to the list of people who have shared over many workshops. So again, that's on Monday, July 11th, and that starts at 8 p.m. Central European time.
Can I come in, please, 1 second? Maybe it'll be good for us to send you some of the recordings of the testimonials of the flight system, because we don't get a chance to show it and set up a special programs for it.
That would be terrific, because we could use some material like that for sure.
Let me speak with the people in the background, see how we can get you some of the testimonial from the flight system, because this way people will see it. We recorded many voice or camera, and we can share it. And this way it'll be easier. Sometimes when it's very special, we put the testimonial. Otherwise, we pass some of it to you that you can put into your teaching.
Or if there's knowledge seekers that have gone back to their hometown or whatever, and would have some thoughts about their experience when they were in Linz, they could also come on to the show and give a testimonial. Then we'd have a recording of it that we could pass on to the Keshe Foundation.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. We'll try to do what we can. Thank you. Bye.
Great, thank you. Okay, we look forward to that. So people can attend that workshop, and we'll see some additional information from the space travel testimonials. All right, well, thanks to everyone, and I appreciate everyone coming here today. It's been another wonderful workshop, and we look forward to all the developments of the Keshe Foundation as we go into a whole new world of technology, which is to do with our inside technology and connecting with our soul. And it's a wonderful world that we're entering into, I think. Okay, we'll see you all next time around. I'm going to play the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version here to go out with. And we'll see you all in the next public workshop.